Hello and welcome to Speak Smart. If you are someone who wants to speak more clearly, sound more confident, and communicate in a way that actually works in real life situations like interviews, meetings, and professional conversations, then you are in the right place. Hi everyone, this is Nikhil Malhotra. I'm a CPD certified soft skills and corporate trainer and facilitator, and I work with students and professionals to help them build practical communication and professional skills. Not just learning English, but learning how to express themselves, their ideas clearly, present themselves confidently, and handle real professional situations. And through my work, I meet a lot of students who are preparing for interviews. Some are fresh graduates, some are switching careers, some are preparing for their very first job. And almost everyone tells me the same thing. Nikhil sir, interviews make me really very nervous. And when I ask why, the answer is almost always this: Sir, I'm afraid I'll forget the answers. Which brings us to today's topic: how to answer interview questions without memorizing. Because the truth is, memorizing interview answers is one of the biggest reasons people perform poorly in interviews. Let's think about it for a moment. Imagine you memorize an answer for the question, "Tell me about yourself." You practice it over and over again, maybe even 20 times, and then the interviewer asks, "So, Nikhil, could you briefly walk me through your background and what brought you into this field?" Now the question is slightly different. But if you memorized one fixed paragraph, your brain immediately panics. Because the words that you memorized don't exactly match the question. And suddenly you start thinking, oh no, this isn't the question I practiced. Now that's the problem with memorization. The moment the situation changes even slightly, the confidence drops, it disappears. Interviews are not about repeating prepared scripts, they're about thinking clearly and expressing your thoughts naturally. Now, I'm not saying that you should walk into an interview completely unprepared. Preparation definitely is really very important. But preparation is very different from memorization. Memorization tries to control every word, whereas preparation focuses on understanding your own experiences, your own strengths, and your direction. Let me give you a simple example. Instead of memorizing full answers, prepare key ideas, key notes. For example, if someone asks you, "Tell me about a challenge you faced," you don't need a memorized script or a memorized paragraph here. You just need to remember the situation, what happened, what you did when it happened, and what you learned from this particular incident. Then explain that same thing naturally. When you speak from understanding instead of memory, two things happen. First, you sound more natural. Second, you can adapt your answer to any variation of the question. And interviewers actually prefer this thing because they are not testing your memory. They're not testing how much you remember. They're trying to understand how you think. Now, let me share something really interesting. Sometimes, when students practice too much memorization, they start sounding robotic. The tone becomes flat, the sentences become too perfect, and interviewers can immediately sense it, that this is a memorized answer. And when that happens, they often start asking follow-up questions. That's where memorization completely collapses. Because the moment the conversation moves away from the memorized script, the person gets stuck. A much better approach is to prepare stories instead of answers. Stories that are from your own life, that are realistic. For example, think about moments where you actually solved a problem, you worked in a team, you collaborated really well, you handled a difficult scenario, a situation, or where you learned something really important. When you prepare stories, you can use them to answer many different questions, many varieties of questions. And because they are real experiences, you don't have to mug them up. You don't need to memorize anything. You just explain what actually had happened. Another thing that helps a lot in interviews is self awareness. How much do you know yourself, right? So, understanding yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your natural tendencies, um, all of this. And interestingly, many people preparing for interviews have no idea, have never analyzed themselves deeply. So they don't know about themselves. They definitely know their marks they got, they know their degrees, but they don't fully understand their personality traits, their strengths, or their kind of careers that actually suit them. Now, that's exactly why I designed something called the Unite Persona Assessment. This is an assessment that helps individuals understand themselves better in a structured way. Through this assessment, you get insights about your personality traits, your strengths and weaknesses, through a detailed SWOT analysis and even suggestions about career directions that align with your natural capabilities, abilities, and interests. The idea behind this assessment is really very simple. When you understand yourself better, you answer interview questions with much more clarity and confidence. Because instead of guessing what the interviewer wants to hear, you are simply explaining who you are and what you're good at. If you are interested in taking the Unite Persona assessment, the link has been added in the description of this video. Once you complete the assessment, you will receive a detailed 12 to 15 page report within 48 hours. And that report can actually become a powerful tool for you when you prepare for the interviews, career decisions, and professional growth. Now, coming back to the interview questions, there is another mindset shift that can help a lot. Stop thinking that every answer must be perfect. First of all, there's nothing called perfect. Instead, focus on being clear and honest. For example, if someone asks you about a weakness, now many people try to give a fake weakness. They try to lie. Something like my weakness is to work really hard, is that I work really hard. Interviewers have heard this 1,000 times or answers like this 1,000 times. Instead, you can give a genuine answer and explain how you are working upon it and trying to improve. That sounds far more authentic. The same applies to questions about strengths. Don't just say that I am hardworking. Give a short example. Give them a story that they can relate to. Explain a situation where your strength helped achieve something. That actually makes your answer believable, authentic. Another simple technique is to slow down. Do not rush into the answers. When people panic in interviews, they start speaking really fast. And when you speak too fast, your brain gets even more puzzled, confused. It's perfectly okay to pause for 2 to 3 seconds before answering a particular question. That pause shows that you are actually thinking. And thinking is a good habit. It's a good thing. Remember that interviews are just conversations, not rapid fire quizzes. And here is something that might surprise you actually. Most interviewers are not trying to reject you. They are trying to understand whether you will be a good fit into the team and whether you can learn and grow. So the goal is not to sound perfect. Instead, the goal is to sound clear, thoughtful, and genuine. If you focus on understanding your experiences, preparing your stories, and becoming self-aware, you will automatically answer questions better without memorizing anything. Before we wrap up today's episode, here's a small action for you. Take 10 minutes time today and write down 3 real experiences from your life. One situation where you solved a particular problem, another situation where you worked with others, you collaborated with others, and the last situation where you learned something really important. These 3 stories alone can help you answer many different types of questions, many different variety of questions. And if you want to understand yourself better before preparing for interviews, you can check out the Unite Persona assessment through the link in the description. Remember that the detailed report will be shared with you within 48 hours. Also, if you're finding these episodes useful, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out the upcoming episodes of Speak Smart. And if you're looking to seriously improve your communication skills, interview performance, or overall professional development, you can also reach out to me for online professional sessions. I conduct structured paid sessions for individuals who want to work on their communication, confidence, and career readiness. You can connect with me through LinkedIn, WhatsApp, or Instagram. All the links are available in the description. I'd be happy to guide you on your professional growth journey. Thank you for spending time with me this time. Until next time, speak clearly, speak confidently, and most importantly, speak smart.